And welcome back to Forbes Sports Money. Now for part one of Michael's interview with obstacle course racer and fitness trainer Hunter McIntyre, who since he first appeared on our show in 2013 has established himself as a dominant force in endurance racing. McIntyre was named one of the top 50 fittest athletes by Sports Illustrated in 2017, and he's undefeated on CMT's reality show Broken Skull Ranch 3 years running, acquiring the nickname The Sheriff along the way. Business-wise, his success as a competitor has led to a partnership with OpenFit, as well as sponsorships with supplement producers Promera Sports and FitAid. Hunter now lives and trains in Malibu, California, but grew up on the East Coast between New York City and New England. However, to get where he is today at age 30, Hunter had to overcome some serious obstacles both on and off the course.
Your story, from where you started to now, is a great story for a lot of kids. You know me, I'm not a doctor, but kids these days seem very quickly, their parents, to say, oh, my kid's got attention deficit disorder, I'm going to put him on meds.
I was kind of one of the kids who grew up in the pharma era, I guess you could put it in quotations. It was the era where they discovered ADHD or ADD, and they put me on a lot of medication. I was medicated from 7 years old all the way until I was 21. In the last 2 years I was on medication, I was court ordered. And I think, honestly, those people, they didn't understand me. They didn't understand a lot of people who have this reckless energy. I think the idea that you have to wake up in the morning and go from your bedroom straight into a classroom for 8 hours straight, and there's nothing in between where you get to kind of shake it off a little bit, is crazy. At least for someone like myself. They really tried every kind of medication you could on me. And now, I remember when I graduated high school, most people considered that I would be dead or in jail within the next few years. People just didn't know how to see what I had as a tool of opportunity. They only saw it as a tool of destruction.
Did your start into obstacle course racing begin with the pursuit of a modeling career and wanting to be a personal trainer to the stars in California?
Yeah, everything before obstacle course racing was a pretty wild and crazy path of wanting to be a model and then wanting to be a trainer, and it was all kind of in the same bubble. And when it came to the opportunity to move to California, one of my closest friends in college, he was like, Hunter, I'll pay for you to move to California with me while I crush business out here if you just keep me in shape.
When you first went out there, life was a little wild. I think it's a little bit of a cautionary tale that a lot of us go through. I read where parting was a little heavy.
Yeah. We'll step back a few years. When I was in high school, I had a lot of talent as an athlete, and then I just had no focus, and I was a little bit wild and crazy. There's drugs around, there was everything, and I ended up having to go to rehab for a whole year right out of high school. And I didn't just go to one rehab, I had to go to 4 rehabs because I couldn't keep my shit together in any of them. And the only thing that really brought me back to center was being a logger. I remember I got out of one rehab, and I told my program officer when I moved to Montana, I was like, if I don't have a job that's so hard that gets me so tired, I promise you I'm gonna really party. And so he made a couple calls and he said, all right, I got you a job with somebody. They drove me, 5,000 feet up a mountain to the top of it and made me log. My first day on the job was I had to reach 4 feet down through snow to get logs. It was just a brutal start. Next thing you know, I gained a great passion for strength and hard work and commitment. You couldn't show up hungover or distracted on a job like this because you'd die. Fast forward, I got out of rehab, went to college, partied, started to get into working out, was passionate about working out, but I wasn't dedicated. There wasn't a show up time like there was when I was logging. Next thing you know, I move out to California and there's no one really holding me accountable. So, at any point in time, if someone made a phone call, they're like, Hunter, we're in Miami and we're gonna have a big party for my birthday. I'll buy your ticket if you just show up. And I would just fly out and I would party for the weekend. Next thing you know, I remember I was really getting into Spartan race and I was still really into partying. I still had one foot in this door, one foot in that one. And next thing you know, I went to Miami and I overdosed on cocaine. Luckily I didn't have anybody have to resuscitate me, but far enough to the line where I was one more line I would have been, my heart would have stopped. It was a bad night. Thing was a real mess. I had to book a ticket home early because I was too worried that my family was going to find out I was dead in Miami when they thought I was training hard in LA. And I didn't want my family to think I was that big of a piece of trash. I was like, God dang it, I'm messing up. So that was January 2013, and And that's when I decided to quit all the drugs. I was like, that's it. I'm putting it away, and I'm going to become a world champion. Like, it's either you party or you become a champion. I tell people, you don't know the highest high until you've seen the lowest low. And when it came to all the drugs and destruction that I did, I'm not trying to suggest that you go that path and do something crazy like I did. I had to go down this super deep and dark road and screw up a bunch to all of a sudden understand the value of what I have right now.
Great to have you back on Forbes Sports Money. We now continue with Hunter McIntyre as Michael and he discuss brand building and the business aspect of endurance racing, which has made him one of the highest paid obstacle course racers in the world.
For somebody watching this interview, how would you describe the business of obstacle course racing?
You know, I'll give you the best ways you can make money in the sport, really. One, you got to win something. You know, the best events that you can win will bring you in about $25,000 to $50,000 on the day. If you win some of these bigger television shows, like, you know, I was undefeated on a show called Broken Skull Ranch. For 3 years, I made $200,000, you know, combined. Those are some of the bigger opportunities. And then the next part about it is sponsorship. If you're lucky enough to be working with a company like, you know, FitAid will sponsor me to go to these races. I have my salary for the month, and then there's bonuses on top of it. And then from there, creating opportunities for yourself outside of just putting on your shoes and running really fast. Like, I just made a deal with a company called OpenFit, where I made a streaming workout platform that is 30 days long to help you get ready for a Tough Mudder.
Hunter, what are some of the sponsors you've been able to get through either use of social media or perhaps, you know, you have your own video show, which I know a lot of people like to watch?
So independently, working with some of these smaller companies like FitAid, they've been sponsoring me for 4 years. They've been my biggest supporter, where they are flying me around season after season to kind of chase these incredible opportunities to work out with the best athletes, the best coaches. Like right now, they're putting me through a docu-series called Forging Greatness, where I get to travel the world to work with all the best CrossFit athletes. And, you know, a small little company like that, compared to Nike, they're really invested in it. When I show up at the office, everybody there is like, Hunter, like, we've been following it. It is so cool what you're doing. Like, we are so motivated by it. And it's awesome. So it's almost better, like, I find it's better to work with these smaller companies where it's like a family situation rather than a big company that may feel cool, but in reality, it's not the team that really supports you. You're just maybe like you're just one little small tool in their shed that they're throwing around.
What do you do on your own video series?
My own video series with FitAid right now is mostly about designing somebody from scratch to go take on the CrossFit Games. I've decided to leave obstacle course racing. Last year, I was able to win the world title again. I was undefeated. I was like, hey, I've done all these really, really cool things. You're 30 this year. It's time for you to take a risk. So I decided to stop running. I decided to just lift all the time. I get the best coaches, the best books, the best massage therapists, the best supplements, whatever it was, to change my body from a mountain runner to somebody who lifts on a wood platform 300 to 400 pounds overhead. And that's incredible. You know, that's a very big change from running the New York Marathon to a 1-second lift. And right now what I'm doing, starting this month, is I'll be traveling the world to chase the best athletes in the world and see if I can beat them up.
How did you get involved in being a defender on $1 Million Mile?
Hey, run 1 mile through the streets of L.A. while being chased by elite athletes.
And get caught and you're out. Get to the finish line, you win $1 million.
The $1 Million Mile was a really cool opportunity. Luckily, with my experience in the game, I was originally contacted by the production team for $1 Million Mile to help actually conceptualize the show. Not too much went behind it before all of a sudden they're like, Hunter, we really want you actually to run this show. So within like a month of talking, I had signed a piece of paper, and now I'm living in a room, like basically a dormitory room with all these other amazing athletes. And all of a sudden, like, it was crazy. Like, a producer would tap you on the shoulder, you're taking a nap, you're like, you're running in 5 minutes, get ready to chase this person because we want to protect that $1 million.
Near term, tell me what you'd like to see happen for your career.
This year's a little bit complicated to explain what I've got going on in the career. It's brand new. It's something that I've created in my own mind as something that would be an athletic achievement that no one else has matched as of recent. So the CrossFit Games is inviting 4 male and 4 female athletes on a wild card to go compete at the CrossFit Games. Traditionally, you have to qualify through the Open or a sanctioned event, so there's ways to get in there. I'm not a CrossFit athlete. I run for a living. I like to do weightlifting and do all these other things, but it's not my profession. So I need to qualify on one of these 4 wild cards. Fingers crossed, we get in, we compete, we fight to the death. If I play my cards right, I would like to see myself in the top 10. Then, 2 months later, I fast forward, I will go back to Spartan Race and go compete at the world title in Tahoe, which is a completely different event. This is a 3-hour event, up to 10,000 feet in the sky, over 35 obstacles, racing against the leanest and meanest athletes in the world. So it would be a modern-day Bo Jackson, you know? I find that it's incredibly impressive to do one thing to the best of your ability, but if I had to be honest to myself, like, I want to challenge myself and take my body to its limits. So am I going to do this every year for the rest of my career? No frickin' way. Am I going to take the chance this year and push my body to its limits and see if this is possible? This is the goal.
If everything goes according to plan over the next 12 months and you hit all of your goals,
Yeah.
how much money could you make?
Obstacle course racing is a business where it's very opportunistic. If you work really hard, there is money for you out there to grab. If you are a total beast in the sport, you're going to make $100,000. If you're a beast and you're a businessman, you're going to make over $200,000. And if you're Hunter McIntyre, I'm going to go for $500,000 plus. And in all honesty, I think that it's because I'm hungry for it. Cash isn't the thing that I sit there and look at. That's not the golden medal. For me, I like winning. If it comes hand in hand with cash, I'll take it. But in reality, I think right now I'd rather be a champion than a rich one.